Hey, beautiful soul. Welcome to my channel. I'm Cheryl Janeen. So today's kind of like a vlog type of day. I wanted to dive into something that changed everything for me because scarcity isn't a strategy. It's about self-intimacy. And if you've been trying to fix your money blocks with more strategy, more funnels, more offers, things like that, but you still feel like there's a part of you that doesn't yet feel like you're enough, then this is going to hit you a little bit differently. Because what you're really chasing isn't strategy, it's actually you trying to feel safe within yourself. Now, this may very well be a perspective shift for you because we've been conditioned to believe that scarcity is about not having enough. Not enough time, not enough money, not enough clients. But scarcity isn't external. It's actually an internal state of separation. It's when you abandon your own needs and disconnect from your emotional truth because it's too inconvenient. So when I work with women in the areas of productivity, performance, and leadership, generally, if you're disconnected, that's like your nervous system saying, I don't feel safe enough with myself and I need something outside of me to fix this. So being disconnected in any kind of way with any of those things, it throws everything else off. Because now you're in performance mode. Now you have a mask on, right? Because you're not anchored in your truth. And we hope that someday somebody will finally validate our worth. Because as women, we know what it's like to overdo it, overgive, overdeliver. And it's like, that's not a business strategy. That's survival energy. Self-intimacy is the antidote to scarcity. And I'm not talking about bubble baths and affirmations. I'm talking about radical honesty. Can you sit with your unmet needs without judging them? Can you acknowledge the little girl inside who's terrified of failing or being unseen? Can you witness your desires, the ones you feel so much, and still say, I choose you? That's what shifts your frequency from lack to liberation. Because the more you know yourself, the more likely you are to trust yourself. And when you trust yourself, that's like saying, I don't have to hustle to prove myself anymore. Okay? Because I trust what I have. I trust who I am. A lot of times, like we spend a lot of time, when you think about it, we have spent a lot of time working our fingers to the bone, overdoing it. And it's like, what is that getting us? It's getting us overwhelmed, burnt out, stressed out. That's not what this is. Whatever that thing is that you're trying to prove, that's what you're giving power to. And it's time to take your power back. Because you don't have to do all those different things. Not when you're anchored in your truth. Let's talk about how scarcity energy shows up in entrepreneurship. So the first thing is you launch from fear that no one will buy. If you have this type of energy, what do you think that is sending out to the universe? What kind of signals do you think you're putting out there? If you have a fear that no one is going to buy your offer, do you understand your value? Do you believe that you're valuable? Do you believe that what you're offering has value? And if you don't, then how do you expect anybody else to believe that? See, when we're talking about manifesting, and let's talk about it for just a second, whatever you focus on is what you're going to get. That's what you're signaling out for a return of. So if I have a focus on the negative, I'm going to get the negative. You never focus on what you don't want. You always focus on the thing that you do want. And anchor yourself in that. Because if you come from a place of fear, then you're going to get that very thing that you're fearful of. The second thing is pricing your offers from insecurity instead of value. And I'm telling you, this is one of the worst things that you can do for yourself. And I'm saying this because I used to do this. I used to think that my offer was great at a certain price. But I would lower it because I'm like, ain't nobody buying it at that price. Nobody's going to buy that. This is what I would tell myself. These are the lies we tell ourselves. Okay. And it's like, I had a client before and she raised the price of her offer. And she did have this fear that nobody was going to buy it. I had to explain to her, don't internalize that, because you're not going to feel comfortable with that price until somebody does buy it. But stand on what you have priced it at and don't lower it, because you understand the value. If you believe in that value, you keep it at that price. Don't you dare discount it, because you're discounting yourself at the end of the day. And that doesn't feel good. You know exactly what your price point needs to be. Don't second guess it. And don't let anybody talk you out of it. Because they will try to make you feel guilty, like, oh, can I get a discount? Or, this, why is this so much? They'll question you about it. You know the value. Your price is your price. That's it. That's it. There's nothing else to say. Your price is your price. They can either take it or leave it. Because you're telling the universe, this is the type of person that I want to buy my stuff. The people that can afford it can afford it. The people that can't, they can't. They're not my people. Okay? You want to call in the high-end client? Put your high-end price up there and add a couple zeros if you want to. You have permission to charge whatever it is that you want to charge. The third thing is overcomplicating your content because you don't trust your voice. I have seen this time and time again. Say what you want to say. The marketplace is very saturated. People have a lot to say and they're not saying it for whatever reason. So if you really want to build a brand that stands out and you want to stand out, your voice is all you have. People need your perspective. They need your thought leadership. They need your insight. They need all the things. They need your unique gifts. They need everything. They want to know what you think. They need the perspective shifts. They need for you to share your journey and your perspective and experiences and all those different things. They need your voice. You hold yourself back because everything that you want is on the other side of what you're uncomfortable with. And I tell everybody, and I want everybody to understand that your voice matters. No matter what you think about something. We got to stop being scared of what other people think about us because it's really none of our business what they think. But we have a right to say how we feel and to express ourselves and stand in full expression of ourselves. That's what being seen is. It's not just about being visible and having people see our face or read what we have to, read what we wrote or whatever the case is. It's not just about that. It's being noticed on a different level. And when you're noticed on a different level, that's what gets you paid. Because it's like, how dare she say that? I want to know more about her. I want to hear more from her. She had the confidence to say that. She had the audacity. We have to start having audacity. So these are all ways that we unconsciously abandon ourselves and then we try to fix it with more strategy. But the truth is there's no amount of strategy that can regulate a nervous system that's not grounded. So there's a few self-intimacy practices that you can do to regulate your energy around abundance. Now, the first thing is pause before reacting, because sometimes there's some panic or some comparison involved, and you need to just stop, breathe, ask yourself, what am I really afraid of losing right now? There is power in your pause. The next thing is speak your needs out loud. Self-intimacy is about voicing your truth without having to justify it. Say what you need. Say what you want. Say what you feel. Trust that you are enough. Abundance flows to the version of you that isn't constantly trying to prove herself. When you rest, you can receive. So scarcity dissolves when you come home to yourself. And I hope that some of this was helpful to you. And I hope that you take some of the tips that I gave and start implementing them. incorporating them into your life, because sometimes we do disconnect from ourselves and we don't even realize it. We don't understand what's going on. We just know something is different. Something is happening. And we need to have some type of stillness, some type of reflection to really get down to the root of what's going on. Okay, and this can happen often. There's no time about it. It's just like it can just happen whenever. But these are the things that we feel, and I think we need to focus more so on what we're feeling and actually work through those emotions. Not try to mask them, not try to put a band-aid on it, but actually work through the emotion and feel what we need to feel until we can get to the other side of it. I always say, like when you have your personal fires, when you get to the other side of your personal fires, there's something more abundant over there waiting for you, but you got to get through that fire. Okay? It's not about going around it. You got to get through it. And so I hope that you will take some of this and try to let your guard down when it comes to fear and having enough and being in lack and things like that, because you're never in lack. You're always having whatever it is that you need. It's always there. It's always there. You just have to do the work to get to it. And you know what? We can all do the work to get to it. And we don't have to work our fingers to the bone to get it. Okay? That next level is waiting for us. It's waiting for everybody. Your next level is always waiting for you. But you don't have to be overwhelmed and burnt out and stressed out to get to that level. Just always remember that and keep that in mind. All right, y'all. So make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified when I do post new videos. And until next time, I'll see you later.